A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute joy, honor, and pleasure to be here this morning. Let me kick this morning off with a favorite story of mine. There was a little boy, about 6 years old, who came to a balloon seller who was selling balloons on the street. And he asked the balloon seller, Uncle, will this red balloon go up in the air? The balloon seller said, Of course, it will. So then the blue one, 100% it will. The pink one, most certainly it will. And you know how kids can be. They can ask funny questions, and I give funny answer as well. A 4-year-old once comes to a shopkeeper and said to the shopkeeper, a girl one, he said, Uncle, how do I look? 4-year-old girls. The shopkeeper said, You look very pretty, dear. She said, So, uncle, when I grow up, will you marry me with your son? The shopkeeper said, Of course, dear. He said, So, uncle, won't you give me a free dairy milk to your future daughter in law? Children, very innocent, charming, clever, and smart. They can ask funny questions and they can give funny answers too. A teacher in a class asked a 6-year-old, Which state of India are you from? He said, I am from Arunachal Pradesh, madam. She said, Can you spell it for me? He said, I am from Goa actually. Who spells Arunachal Pradesh? Kids are kids, aren't they? The little boy asked, Will the pink balloon go up? Will the red balloon go up? Will the black balloon go up? Will the blue balloon go up? The exponential balloon seller said, Look, darling, the balloons does not go up in the air based on their color. The balloon go up in the air based on what is filled inside of them. The gas, the air. That's what take the balloons to the height of success. Boys and girls, the class of 2023, we all owe different balloon with different abilities, different skill sets, different backgrounds, different upbringings, different family culture, different traditions, different opportunities, different resources, different challenges. We all have to very different outside. But guess what? Everybody who has reached the height of success and has made a mark in the world has not even done it based on the color of the balloon, hasn't even done it based on the resources, haven't even done it based on opportunities, haven't even done it based on skill, haven't even done it based on what they have just learned in school, college, and universities. These all are the color of the balloon and extremely important. Everybody who has left a mark in the world and has made the world a better place are the ones who had the right kind of gas filled inside their balloon. As we show outside, it is very crucial and important to fix our inside because only those who have their inside sorted and inside fixed have reached high up in the sky. Which is why don't they say it's not our aptitude but our attitude that decided our altitude in our life. Yes, we definitely need aptitude. Our school, our universities, our teachers have give us the aptitude. But along with that, they have also give us the right attitude by their own example. Our families all also have give us the right attitude by their own examples. For examples, when you see an iceberg, you see only the tip of the iceberg on the surface of the water, don't we? The achievements of others, their success, their popularity, their achievements, their accumulates, their wealth, their money, their fancy cars, their homes, their fancy vacations and holidays, in all of the tip of the iceberg, what we see. But right underneath that surface is a huge, humorous iceberg which is unseen by the eyes of the world. The world sees the tip of the iceberg, the money, the popularity, the success, the achievements. What we do fail to see is the huge iceberg underneath the surface of the water. The failure, the patience, the determinations, the grit, the courage, the trouble, the struggles, the resilience, the tendency, all of these is what made the little tip sustainable and seen to the world as you are now going to embark on your new journey. And as you work on achieving the tip of the iceberg, my prayer today is that you never forget the unseen. Take inspirations from your heroes, from your role models, from your families, from your teachers, and learn as a humorous iceberg underneath that surface of the water that is responsible for the tip of the iceberg to remain there. Remember always, it takes a lot of sleepless nights to become an overnight success. And therefore, here is the first principle that I want to share with all of you today. If you want to get the seen, focus on and work on the unseen. If you want the tip to be up there, focus on the huge iceberg underneath the surface. If you want your balloons, the beautiful balloon, to soar high, focus on what's filled inside as well. How many of you love going on a holiday? All of us? How many of you love traveling? Oh, okay. I must put my hand down. I hate traveling because in a year, sometime I end up taking over 300 to 325 flights. That's insanity when it comes to traveling. And you can have all kinds of experiences when you travel. Like I was flying once and the stewardess comes to me. I am not going to mention the airline. The steward comes to me and says, "Welcome on board, sirs. We guaranteed takeoff." I said, "Landing, madam?" She said, "You are a monk, isn't it? It's important to pray." Oh, takeoffs and landings. The three biggest fear people had back in the day were number one, the fear of public speaking. Anybody here? Number two was the fear of death. Anybody here? And the number three was the fear of flying on an aeroplane. I guess that is why they call an aeroplane, airport, airport, a terminal, possibly. Oh. And those three fears have now been replaced with three biggest fear today. Number one, battery of your smartphone die. Number two, poor Wi-Fi signal. And number three, the wheel on your phone will still buffering when you are watching a Netflix show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in my experience of travel, I hate travel because it is just so much of it. But how long you can you keep saying I hate it, I hate it, I hate it? I don't know when do we stop the self-defeating talk. Hate this subject. I hate leaving home. I hate going there. I hate going this. I hate. The self-defeating talk stop us from reaching where we want to reach in our life. I had traveled to the United States. I said, right, I am taking like doing insane stuffs. I am an insane guy. I remember going to the US once, flying to New York City and then going to Oakland for a tour. I was in the US for 16 hours. I flew for 22 hours to be in the US for 16 hours and go back to Mumbai for another functions. And in 6 days after that, I flew back to New York 17 and a half hours to be there for 28 hours and come back again for a function in Mumbai. 3 days after that, I flew back again to Chicago and be there for 36 hours to come back to Mumbai. And at the immigrations, there was an Afro-American gentleman sitting there. He said, "Why don't you just stay, young man? You are just chipping in and out all the time." And guess what I learned? When you are traveling so much, 17 and a half hours of a flight, Mumbai to New York, we are all looking forward to reach the destination where the flight lands. But in looking forward to the destiny, very often, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we forget to enjoy the journey. What a sheer waste of 17 and a half hours. If I say I hate flying, I don't hate this. I hate being on the flight. I hate this food on the flight. I hate being on the seat. I hate. And I will only be happy when I land and I am in New York City. I have wasted 17 and a half hours of my precious time. I have wasted my journey. What I want to share with all of you is we move from one point to another point, go from one destination to another. You came here in the kindergarten. You most moves to grade one, destination points A to B in between the journey of 365 days. And you have been moving from one destination to another. Today, at the school is your final destinations. You move out now looking forward to your next destination at Columbia, at NYC, at Yale, at Stanford, at Oxford. And what I do want to share with all of you is destinations are important, but do not forget to enjoy the journey because the journey to the destinations is very long. And I have seen a lot of times that we become destination addicts and forgot to enjoy. How many of you have had a great time at DIS? How many of you had a great time with your friends? How many of you enjoy the journey? Okay. Wow, it's look like I need to take my clothes off and come back to Madam to DIS to experience this beautiful journey. I was sharing with her an inspiring story. There is a class in London. 7-year-olds. The teacher asked the kid, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Some of them said doctors, some of them said lawyers, some of them said actors, some of them said solicitor. One boy was white. The teacher turned to the boy and said, "Doing does it take that long to answer that question?" Very thoughtfully, the boy said, "When I grow up, madam, I want to be happy." The teacher said, "Boys, look like you haven't got the question right." The 7-year-old said, "Ma'am, looks like you haven't got life right." Because if you would have gotten life right, you would know that everything that we do is wanting to be happy. And this answer was given by the legendary John Lennon of the Beatles groups. It was John Lennon who said this. You did not get life right. And therefore, as you move from one destination to another, do not forget to enjoy the journey and be happy. How many of you failed in any exam, even in your life? Some craziest souls raise their hands. A boy was once walking with his dad, college going boy, and his friend messages him, said, our college results are going to be out very soon." The boy's message back saying, "I am walking with my dad. If he picks the phone up and he sees I have failed in any subjects, I will be taken off a task. So let's communicate in code language. If I fail in one subject, say good morning to you. I will understand. If I fail in two, say good morning to you and dad. I will understand." A couple of minutes back, he got a message saying good morning to you, dad, family, and friends. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we all have had our own failures. We all have had our own disappointments. And as you embark on this new journey, you will have yours. Life is what it is. With all your dreams, with all your aspirations, with all your ambitions, life does what it does to us. And when fails comes, disappointments do come, we need something very incredible. I remember when I was graduating and I was finishing my diploma in engineering, I stood second in the state of Maharashtra and I missed my first rank by 4 marks. I was very, very disappointed. I came back home with tears in my eyes. And it is at that time I remember my father coming and patting on my back and said, "Look, dear son, people will forget the grades and people will forget the marks. At the end of it all, what matter is to keep that spark alive. We need somebody to help us keep that spark alive." You know something? All of us in us have the spark with us. That spark to do something, that spark to make a difference, that spark to success, and spark to show high. And this is what life does to us. Drunk us in a glass of water. That is what life did to me when I voted to stand first. I was disappointed. I lost my first rank in the state of Maharashtra by 4 marks. And what life does to us kills that spark within. This is what life does. Extinguish the spark. Sometimes we feel I just can't keep going. I can't do it. I can't. I feel helpless. It's at those times that we need somebody to trigger that spark back within us. If you don't have this somebody, we will be lost. For me, it was my dad. And hate saying it, I disagreed with him. I didn't speak to him with full for 2 years. He had to fall on my feet and say, "Sorry, son, of whatever I did. I didn't say you are sorry." And every single years I felt I will go and say, "Sorry, dad, I shouldn't have put you through this." He was the one who stood by me to light me up. And I, in my young zeal and in my young enthusiasm to achieve and be who I was very rude to the same people who light us up. The graduating class of 2023, when life takes the spark off, you will need someone. Is it your mom, your dad, your teacher, your mentor, your guides, your friends? Find someone who will light you up. That is the third things I would like to share with you this evening. And here is the last things that I did like to share with you. Since I fly so much, if the stewardess does not come up for that day, I did probably end up making the announcement myself. If there be a lack of oxygen supply in the cabin, oxygen masks will deploy from the panel above your head. Pull the mask sharply to activate the flow of oxygen. Secure the mask on your face and nose and breathe normally. Make sure your mask sorry. Make sure your mask is in place before you help child, infant and other. It is very important to pull out your mask in place before we can put the mask on somebody else. Mark Twain said something very interesting. He said there are two most important days in life. One is the day when we born, and the second is the day we find out why we were born in this world. You were all born to make a difference. You were all born to be change makers. You were all born to be a crystallize of change in the something dark worlds that we live in. But do remember, if you don't have your mask on, you wouldn't be able to put the mask on anybody else's face at all. And which is why, as you achieve, as you grow, as you make your balloons so high in the sky, as you make sure that the tip of your iceberg is up there, do not forget to care of yourself. You deserve more than what you are giving yourself. More respect, more love, more time, more kindness, more compassion. And when you receive all of that, you will definitely be a positive to share it with others. So, graduating class of 2023, number one. Work on the unseen so that the seen can soar high. Graduating class of 2023, lesson number two. Do not forget to be happy during the journey because the journey can be long until we reach our destinations. Lesson number three. Always have somebody when you lose it to be bring that spark back again in you. And my last parting things, make sure your oxygen mask is in place before you have to bright futures to make a difference in his worlds by being impactfully. Thank you very much.